You're now tuned into Real As It Get Podcast.
Keeping it real.
Be real, be true, and be yourself. They say the truth will set you free. You have to be real with yourself before you can be real with anyone else. Remember that.
Real As It Get Podcast, episode number 6. I go by the name Jay Neely. Got
your boy Chuck C.
Hey, we got a special guest with us today, the head football coach of Santaluces High School, Coach Hector Clavijo. What's going on, man?
What's going on, fellas? Appreciate y'all having me on.
Appreciate it.
Man, appreciate you being on, man. This is another big interview for us, man, that we wanted to have on. Kind of like I say every interview, man. I love having football guys on. You know what I'm saying? Talking real football talk. Keeps me close without having to be on the field.
So we gonna start the interview off. Introduce yourself. Tell us where you're from. Tell us about your background a little bit.
So obviously, I was born and raised in Miami. Kind of moved around. I was born in Hialeah, somewhere around middle school time. Right before middle school, moved down south, down to Cutler Ridge. So I ended up going. My first high school was I went to Gulliver Prep my freshman year. Then I transferred over to Miami Southridge.
Mm-hmm. So
I played there my sophomore, junior year. And then my parents moved back up to Hialeah, so then I ended up finishing my senior year at Hialeah High. It was a real fun experience. Had some good times in high school. Was able to play for some really good coaches at all three places, people that I still have, great contact with. And then after high school, I went to the College of Worcester in Ohio. Played ball there for 3 years, had a lot of great success. And then my senior season, my brother had just gotten to a school in Oklahoma. And then, I ended up making that move so our parents could kind of come watch both of us play rather than having to go to two different places. And then I made that move there, played with my brother my senior year, and had a lot of real good time there as well. And then after that, I came back down home. I started doing real estate. Coaching a little football on the side just to kind of stay with it, kind of like you said, right? Kind of figuring out what to do now that you're no longer playing, trying to stay with the game.
Right.
And then one thing led to another. Got a phone call from Coach Dennis Mariquin. They were he had just taken a job at Champagnat. They had a tough season. Kind of went out there, tried to help them out on that last. They had like a three-way tiebreaker. Kind of try to help him out that one day, and then after that, he brought me and my brother in to coach with him that following year, and the rest is history. Obviously, 6 straight state championship appearances since then.
Pretty nice.
And then so we were able to kind of turn that whole thing around down there, and then now I'm here. My wife got a job up here in Palm Beach. She's a firefighter, and it's a great opportunity for her. So I said, hey, you know what? I'll just make that move and come do something new and build another program up. Why not? So that's where I'm at. That's why we're here.
So she got the firefighter job first, and then you came down.
She had the firefighter job last year. This time.
Oh, okay.
So she tried to get me to move in the summer, but I said we just won back to back. So let me go get that 3-peat.
Right.
So she agreed, and she said, all right, cool. But come December, it's either me or football. So you better pick. So we went ahead and we finally found a house and we made the move, and it was a super smooth transition. So now we living up here. We Palm Beach County residents now, and it's a little different deal up here, but it's great for the family.
Yeah. Right. That was one of my questions. One of my questions was gonna be, you just won championships. Why did you leave? But in that type of situation, we totally understand it, and why not try to build something new here? Right?
Yeah. Everybody kind of asks me that now. Why would you leave? Given that y'all had just so much success there, kind of have built that thing up. When I got there first with Dennis, we had like 15 dudes on the team.
Mm-hmm.
Then when Dennis stepped down, I think I was left with like 12 guys on the roster going into the after Dennis left after the second year. And then my next 4 years there was turning that place into a monster. We had 65 dudes on the roster this past year. At a 2A school with 170 kid enrollment, 6 through 12.
Right.
So over a third of the school basically was football players. So it was a real fun task. I love that place. The administration was great, but obviously I had to do what was best for me and my family. To make that move up here. and I picked the right spot, I think.
Right.
Yeah. Shout out to Coach Merrick, saying it's my dog. But after being with him to help build it up, and then taking over and almost kind of had to build it up again, and then now you're in this school, going on a build. How do you build a program? How do you set that culture, like to you guys set it over there big, like you win the state championships over there. Obviously the goal is to do that same here. So how do you build that culture? When you're building something from scratch almost.
I mean, the biggest thing, man, is you gotta, as a coach, you gotta have a philosophy, right? And you gotta have a belief. I'm sure most people's philosophies and beliefs are different. So I have mine, and I just try to implement that on the kids every single day. I'm no nonsense. We work hard. We go through 2.5 hours, 3 hours in the summer, every 4 days a week, plus 7-on-7s, plus padded camps, plus whatever the case may be. So we gonna work. So every single year, we typically have the team that's in the best shape, and I like to have the team that's the most physical. So we go hard, we compete every day in practice, and it's just kind of setting that standard. To me, it's a competition standard. I think I call it the LeBron effect, right, where everybody tries to kind of just let's team up,
right.
And then just because we're all good, we're gonna win. It doesn't always work that way.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you kind of gotta grind. You gotta compete. You gotta learn to win. And I tell my kids all the time, we want to win the coin toss. You know what I mean? That's where it starts. We want to win the pregame. We want to win. If I'm playing, if I play my kids are 5 and 7. I don't let them win in basketball. You know what I mean? I don't let them win in tic-tac-toe. I don't let them win in rock, paper, scissors. You got to have that mindset.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's kind of what I try to instill in them. And and we're starting to see it here. You know what I mean? The kids are starting to care more about football and compete. And we got a ton of talent here. It's just bringing the best out of them, and really showing them that they could actually win. Right. I think the school's been down too long. And they're just not used to winning. But over the course of the last 6 months that I've been here, there's definitely been a buzz in the community and a buzz around the kids and the parents, and everyone's buying into that. And I think it's the sky's the limit here.
Okay, being new to the area, how do you make Santaluces an attractive school for kids to come play football, being that you got John I down the street, Lake Worth, Boynton,
Park Vista,
right? And being that since 2017, it looked like till now, you guys are 19-25. 2019 was the best season. I believe they were 7-3.
Shout out to Coach Cole.
How do you make Santaluces football great again, at least to that 2019 season, where Coach Cole, when he came in, he bought some guys in. We see that you got some transfers in that could contribute right away. But how do you build the overall momentum for the team?
So to be honest with you, when I got here, when I took this job, I didn't know, I couldn't tell you who the teams were in the district, right? I could see it on match preps, but I couldn't tell you where they were located.
Right.
I didn't know who was the closest in proximity. I didn't know who was what. I couldn't tell you what Lantana even was, right? So for me, I was oblivious to all of that. When I took this job, I took it based on facilities, which obviously where I came from and what I had, which was nothing. Right. So to having a full stadium, this entire field house complex, multiple offices, a head coach's office, a locker room, a coach's locker room, the whole nine, right? So there's a phenomenal facility. I got 6 practice fields. You can't beat what we got here. But also the support of the administration, right? So I thought with that team that I was able to assemble from admin to myself to our coaching staff to the facilities, I think that's an attractive part right there in its own. I didn't really care for who was out anywhere else because let's call a spade, right? When's the last time anybody won anything up here? Right?
True.
So I wasn't walking into I wasn't taking a job at Miami Northwestern or something where you got to worry about Central just won and Booker T just won a couple years ago and Carroll City just won not too long ago and Norland could always be good and you got to worry about all these people and then Champagnat's good and then Champagnat gonna take whoever they want. So you kind of got to deal with that right down the street from each other. Here it's okay, who is who, right? There ain't nobody. Atlantic was good a couple years ago, but that was really it. And then Dwyer was good, I don't know when that was, right?
Almost 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So really, we're talking
open.
about
An
open playing field. You know, Palm Beach is right for the taking. So I know Palm Beach Central has kind of been the king of the castle here for the last year or two, based on what I've been hearing, seeing, and whatnot. But that's really it. So to me, it was wide open. So I think that's what makes Santaluces intriguing, is that you got a lot of organic talent that's just walking the hallways here, that you just got to figure out a way to get them out.
Nice.
And then as far as our transfers go, all those kids live in the area. So to me, when I took this job, when I sat with the administration, I said, the kids that go here, that were supposed to go here, got to come back.
Right.
You know, it's not about going and getting kids from Palm Beach Gardens and going and getting kids from Wellington or from wherever. It's about going and getting kids that were supposed to be here.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like the kids live down them kids that transferred didn't walk to practice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They live down the street. So to me, that's what it's about. It's about taking care of your community, and I think we got enough talent here that we could win with what's organically here. You know. And then we could take advantage of whatever programs or whatever else happens with, the incoming ninth grade, things of that sort. But right now, my main focus, and when I sat with the principal, I said, hey, let's get our kids back. Let's make sure there aren't kids that are supposed to be here going to other places. And that's kind of been where we're at right now.
That's important, man, because, I've been connected with a few head coaches in the county, and that is something that they're suffering from.
Right, keeping their
good
kids
players. They're losing them.
Yeah.
And it's just, they're losing so many, and these kids go to other schools and make an immediate impact.
Yeah,
So
St. Lucie has always been it's in a good area
Right.
for kids. And like you say, like a lot of kids who are zoned for St. Lucie go somewhere else. You know what I mean? So that's always been a tough, thing for St. Lucie. And, obviously they always have players and everything like that, but never like a solid team because so many players are gone,
Yeah. And you can't do anything about the kids living in St. Thomas. You know what I mean? Or you can't do anything really about a kid going to like American Heritage. Like them places, I always tell people, them people gonna get who they gonna want to get. You know what I mean? Like there's not much you can control. When I was at Champagnat, if I lost a kid to St. Thomas, or if I lost a kid to Heritage, or if I lost a kid to like a Gulliver Prep, what are you gonna tell them kids? You can't tell them kids anything. That's a Heritage and Gulliver Prep costs $40,000 a year.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's a hell of an education. Like I understand that.
Right.
What can't happen here is we lose kids at Boynton, we lose kids at Somerset, we lose kids at John Ahn, we lose kids at Forest Hill. Like that's what can't happen in this community. You know what I mean? And that's where I think coming in, and it just starts with putting kids in school. That's where it's going to start at the end of the day. It's how many kids what's our signing day look like? If I can fill up a table with kids going to college, I think the parents in the community are going to feel comfortable with sending their kids to me to play for me. That way I know I'm going to take care of them going forward. Because at the end of the day, that's what they play football for, right?
Right.
We're all just trying to go to school. We're trying to put these kids in school. And if we could win, that's going to be a plus.
Right.
So obviously that's what we did at Champagnat. That's what I want to do here, is not only put the kids in school, but win. And that's the goal.
So facilities, we see you stress facilities. After winning championships, they never built the stadium. We see that you guys played every away game as an opponent. I mean, no, you played every game as an away opponent. How did that affect you? How did that affect the team? Like, did they not have you guys back? Was it not something they planned to build for the future? Like, how was that? Just because, facilities, uniforms, these kids look forward to those things now.
Yeah, so I understood. I had a great relationship with the administration.
Okay.
Like, if I call them right now, they gonna answer the phone. Like, it's a phenomenal. That's like, they're older than me, so I don't want to say, but it was like a brother-sister type relationship, right? Like they did have our back when it came to football. But I knew there was a budget. You know what I mean? There was a certain amount of money that we can and can't spend. And so for example, we got brand new uniforms last year, right? We got brand new Battle uniforms, paid for them, and Battle hooked us up with a lot of extra stuff and whatnot. And that was when I first got there, we got Under Armour uniforms. And that was, and 2-3 years later, we get the Battle uniforms. So they were willing to spend money on that.
Right.
But I also saw it as a waste, right? And I'm not here to disrespect any team, but I wasn't going to sit here and host a playoff game. Right, and we're gonna host a playoff game against Glades Day. Okay, we're gonna play Glades Day. I'm gonna make Glades Day travel all the way to me. I don't have a stadium, so now I gotta go spend $2,000 on the stadium. I gotta go spend $3,000 on police. I gotta go spend another X amount on referees. I gotta go spend an X amount on an ambulance. I gotta spend X amount on people tickets and working the event. Right, I gotta go do all that. So now I'm in the hole. How much money, right? When all I got to do is jump on the cheese bus and go ahead and play the Glaze Day, beat them 55-0, and get back on my bus and go home.
Right.
See what I'm saying? It was a lot easier to just do those things rather than go ahead and spend all that money. Mm-hmm. Now we could take all that money that we would save in the playoffs, and then when we got to state, we stayed in the best hotels.
Right.
See what I'm saying? We never stayed in no Motel 6 or nothing like that for state. We were always in a Hilton or a Marriott or something nice. Mm-hmm. We ate good. We had all that. Our rings. I still think we got the best rings for the last two times we won it. Yeah. We got the best rings in Dade and Broward County. So to me, we spent the money where I felt was going to be important. See what I'm saying? Me playing a home game in the playoffs that I knew was probably 99% chance of winning. I'll take my chances to go play up there. Gotcha. Even if the referees are against us, we probably still gonna have a good chance.
So you guys never had any money, like you didn't make any money from games just because you played on the road all. So you had to pretty much rely on fundraising.
We wasn't gonna make any money playing at home.
Yeah, because you guys.
We're gonna spend $5,000. How many people you got to put in the stands?
Right. Yeah, for real.
We had the Miami Dolphins.
That's tough.
You know what I mean? So we're a school with 170 kids. Only 60, 65 play football. So even if you had two parents of each of those kids, 120 kids, there's no community. Mm-hmm. We're not Miami Northwestern. We're not Miami Central. We don't have an entire community coming out to support us. We're in Hialeah. They play baseball in Hialeah. Right. They don't play football. Right. So there wasn't a backing that you were going to get. If we had 500 people at a game,
guaranteed.
Yeah, we would have that, but that's not like the norm, right? Mm-hmm. That was when we would play the big schools, when we played the West, when we played Chaminade, when we played those kind of schools, you would get those games. But that was rare. It didn't make sense to do that. And I was with them. I would be the one that would walk in and be like, hey, you good with going out of town this week? Yeah, come on. Hey, I'll call the coach. Hey, you want to host it? They're ecstatic. Hell yeah, we gonna host. You know what I mean? Like, they want to do it. I can have it. Go ahead, man.
That's crazy because I, with my youth organization, I was in a situation like that last year where you're in the red before you start just because we didn't have a home field. Mm-hmm. You got to pay X amount for refs. Look, man, we barely get parents to come to practice. We can't depend on them come game time. Yeah, you know what I mean? Right. So it was just in the best, our best situation to just say, hey, we'll just play every game on the road. Obviously, teams host games because they make money off them. Mm-hmm. So that was just something that we had to X out and pretty much try to re-strategize and say, hey, let's try to make the money another way.
Right. Yeah. No. Speaking of finances, we try to bring this up all the time to different coaches because I want the message to be out there for people who aren't familiar with like high school coaching or high school football. Like, how does fundraising work for you? Like, how do you get the money and like what I'm saying? How do you do that to try to, like you said, you got to pay for refs, you got to pay for pay for the paint to paint the field. You got you got all that stuff you got to pay for, including police officers and all this other stuff. So how do you work fundraising for your for your team and how is it different fundraising for Champagnat as opposed to fundraising here? I know you haven't been here that long, but
right. So it's very similar. Unfortunately, me coming in here, I thought I was coming into a little bit better situation, but I wasn't. Last year, they spent a ton of money on things that probably weren't necessary. So they kind of put me in a hole. They also bought uniforms that weren't legal. So now we had to go out and get brand new uniforms. So we're gonna have brand new uniforms for this season. But after you count refurbishing helmets, spending $15,000 on uniforms, whatever it costs for paint, whatever it costs for, just a lot of miscellaneous type stuff. Mm-hmm. Footballs, right? Footballs, right? Footballs, footballs are $100 a pop.
Yeah, everything went up.
So you're talking about having, you spending $1,500 on just footballs a year. So I think what we like to do is, I always kind of start off with like a crowdfunding deal, so like some sort of like snap raise or one of those teamworks type fundraisers, just to kind of get a quick influx of money, right? Mm-hmm. Boom, do it like for 2 weeks, and it kind of hits you, and then that's what kind of got us started. So that's how I was able to buy the footballs, and I was able to purchase a few things. Then what I like to do, I like to have like a quarterly T-shirt fundraiser. So we try to sell T-shirts, try to get them as cheap as possible. Shouts out to BSN. BSN hooked us up really good with some really good dry fit shirts sitting right there, and really good price. So we kind of were able to make a good amount of profit. We sold probably about, I want to say it was about 600 shirts. We sold about 600 shirts in a week.
Wow.
At the school.
Wow.
You know, it was a great support from the administration and the teachers in the school. So each kid was mandatory to sell 5 shirts. Okay, we got about 80 kids in this program now.
Nice.
Okay, so we were able to just really blow that up and sell them shirts. Then we had our spring game. We had about 400 people show up to our spring game. So we sold a ton of T-shirts at the game. We sold concessions. So that was kind of like our second fundraiser with that. And then our last fundraiser that we're doing this summer has been what's called a calendar fundraiser.
I've heard about it.
So we got a calendar with 31 days on the board, and each kid would sell a number of that calendar to a person. Mm-hmm. So I would say, man, what's your favorite number? Okay, 6. Okay, cool. Well, it's a $6 donation for that number, and then they would place your number on that, and then I would get those calendars back with all those names and whatnot, and each person would just sell each box. Super simple, right? It ain't rocket science. Right. And that calendar alone brought back $497. So per kid. Dang. So when you do that math, right, that fundraiser right there is what's going to set us up. We're in the middle of doing it right now. Half the team's already done it. So that fundraiser right there is what's going to set us off, and we should be done fundraising for the rest of the year. And that's going to cover whatever expenses of footballs, uniforms, helmets, whatever the case may be, shoulder pads, miscellaneous stuff. And then we would hope that with our success, our gate and our concessions will cover game day. Right. That should cover police, workers, and referees. And if we could keep that up, then we will never have to worry about all the extras here.
How do you get players to lock in on that? Like
on the fundraiser.
On the fundraiser.
It's simple, coach. You don't do it, you don't play. I mean, point blank period.
So and that's what I'm trying to get to. Like that's how I am. I got my youth organization. Right. We present the same things to them. And it's just like these parents just BS's. Like we had the thing with scratch offs, and I'm literally like, okay, my program got 150 kids in it. Even if you don't complete the entire thing, I need you to at least bring back $50.
Right.
And we got it set up where you can do things around the field, and we'll shoot you a few dollars towards your fundraiser. But it's kind of like a lot of those kids. It is what it is, but they want to reap the benefits. Right. So you pretty much saying if your kids don't participate,
you're not gonna get a helmet August 1st.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So you gonna get out there and work.
It's simple, and obviously there's an exception to each rule, right? Mm-hmm. So to me, I'm all about communication. Right. So if you're a parent, I've had parents reach out to me, Coach, I'm about halfway through. I say, listen, keep it. Take another week and try to give it to me in whole. Right? Or hey, coach, can I get you X amount by August 1st, and I'll get you the rest by during the season. If we could have that open line of communication, I'm good with that. Because at the end of the day, I could always say, hey, well, look, you told me you was gonna do this, right? What happened? See what I'm saying? So to me, it's about having that communication. And I got a great team mom right now. She works her tail off for us. I got a coach on staff that strictly deals with my paperwork. So all paperwork, accounting, things of that sort. I got a coach, a paid stipend coach that just deals with that. So that way, all of that stuff is streamlined to the parents in the group chats and all that good stuff. So that way, I don't really got to be the one sitting here dealing with all that, right? I just basically get the reports, I get the money, we submit it, kick out the receipts or whatnot, and do all the corporational stuff that the school board requires, and we do things the right way like that. But absolutely, man, if you don't take care of it, it's not fair.
True.
It's not fair because at the end of the day, the ones that's going to end up hurting is that kid anyways.
Right.
You know what I mean? When that kid don't have uniform, like nobody pays for tape. Nobody pays for pre-wrap. Nope. Nobody pays for Gatorade. Nobody pays for any of that stuff. So, like, if your kid get hurt, what you want me to do? You know what I mean? Like, duct tape. You know what I mean? Like, what you want? So, if we want to take care of your kids and you want your kid to have the best chance to be successful, then we got to do our part as parents in fundraising.
Do your part. Communication is key.
Absolutely.
Like you spoke about coaches or whatever, and being new to the county, you didn't know coaches like that.
I ain't about it.
Yeah. So how were you able, like, through the interview process and everything like that, to decipher, which coaches are you feel like would gel with you and gel with your staff and gel with the vision that you had? Like, how did you go about that process of bringing in coaches?
So fortunately, I didn't have a staff that they had to worry about gelling with. So all I had to do was just gel with me. And so we were able to. I put out the ads, on FHSA, on Twitter, and things of that sort. and just try to get a vibe for everybody, right? Just try to see who was who, what was what, and then if I liked the person, typically everybody would bring me a resume, and then I would see their references and try to see if I knew somebody that knew somebody, right? Try to see how to expand that network, and then just make some phone calls, get a couple, some feedback on some people, and then make a decision from there. So I think I've been able to put together a pretty strong staff on both sides of the ball. So I think we're just missing one or two coaches that I would like to add.
What coaches? What position coaches? Or?
Yeah, position coaches. Probably maybe like an O-line or a D-line guy. Just to kind of help with both either or, and then maybe a DB guy. I think that's what I would like to add right now, just to kind of simplify and be able to really teach on those positions. But yeah, those are probably the two spots that I'm looking for right now. But yeah, that's kind of how I was able to do it. But yeah, I knew nobody, man. I knew nobody. They introduced me to Coach Sam Curry, and he kind of picked some people to me. I actually spoke with him this morning, and my kid plays for Royal Palm, so I'm out there. I'm out there.
Heavy connections around here.
I'm out there every night now. So just try to touch on who I did know.
Sam is a good guy. That's one of my partners right there.
Yeah, he's a great dude, man. Does a lot for the kids. I watch him out. He coaches right where I sit, so I watch him coach every day firsthand. He does a great job with teaching those fundamentals and those basics to those kids, and getting on them and making them accountable, and they look really good out there.
Shout out to the Putman brothers that's on your staff, man.
Absolutely.
Those are some good dudes, man. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to those dudes.
Absolutely. Those guys are phenomenal.
How many coaches you currently got on your staff right now?
Right now we got, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 coaches.
Okay.
So this upcoming season, you know what I'm saying? We already, like I said, you got buzz around the county already. People, already got their eyes looking at Santaluces, like, okay, what's going on over there? They got the new guy. What's your obviously, everybody's ultimate goal is to win the state championship. But being at your first year, I don't know if that's your goal or not. Like, what is a good successful season that you feel like, okay, we had a good successful season for my first year here?
I want to go undefeated.
There you go.
I want to go undefeated. I tell the kids all the time. I mean, to me, it's I cannot come here and then change the way I am, right? I can't come here and all of a sudden I'm gonna be a different guy. Like, to me, if we were successful a certain way, I got to keep being that way. Right. So I always told the kids at Champagnat, it's anything less than a state championship is unacceptable. So that's the model we got here. My first day on campus, on break, at the end of practice was 1, 2, 3 state. Right, because that's the mindset, right, and that's our break on everything. So every day is a constant reminder that's our goal. But it's funny, I've never been able to go undefeated, right?
even with
those teams, we never played the cupcake schedules that some other 2A schools like to play. So we always played the big schools, so it was hard to go undefeated down there. But I would like to go undefeated. I think our schedule is very favorable this year for us. And so that's my goal. And then obviously getting in the playoffs, hopefully getting a nice draw, and making a run. You know what I mean? I want to make a run. I want to make a real run. Get through. I think the first 2 rounds, and then I think they bring in the Broward schools, right? I think that's what we'll have to face, probably Monarch or a Western, something like that. And then go ahead and let's rock with the Broward, and then go ahead and we already know who probably going to be at semi. It's going to be Palmetto or Columbus. I mean, let's call it where it is. So Palmetto, Columbus State semis, and let's roll. So that's our goal. That's what I see going forward. I do it every year. I knew we was going to play Trinity. I knew we was going to play First Baptist. I knew it's the same thing now. You kind of start figuring out who is who, what is what, and let's go. But obviously, I don't care. It's our first year. First year at Champagnat, you went to state. So first
I like the mindset. I love the mindset because you instill it in them early.
Absolutely.
We expect nothing less. Come out here each and every day and work.
That's it. It ain't rocket science.
So when it comes to coaches, we've asked a few of the coaches that we've interviewed, how do you select coaches to join your staff? Like, say for instance, Sam Curry, he's a youth guy. Do you look at experience over inexperience, or do you just say, listen, any guys that I'm bringing along, they gotta have just experience in high school football, or you just like, if you're a good
I don't really care for experience too much.
Gotcha.
To me, it's like when when you came out of college, right, and you went to apply for a job, and every job you went to, like you got a degree,
right,
and you send your job, your resume in, and they gonna come back and tell you, well, you ain't got no experience. Well, no shit.
Can't get experience.
I just finished school. How you gonna get experience? Right? And us being athletes, right? Like we played ball. Like we didn't have time for a job in college. Like that's not possible. So to me, is how do you get a job if you did all that work to get a degree? But not every time you're gonna get a job, you need experience. So to me, I don't really care for experience. Our running back coach is fresh out of college.
Okay.
So he just graduated from FAU, James Charles, right? Okay. So he's coming right from putting his cleats up to coaching with us. So to me, I don't care about experience. To me, what I care about is, are you gonna be here every day? Are you gonna be here on time?
Say it again.
Are you gonna be a guy that's got high energy? I don't expect you to know everything. At the end of the day, I don't need Nick Saban to be my coach. Like, I don't need Nick Saban to coach with me. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? A Nick Saban type coach is not going to win us games.
Right.
Right? I need a guy that can relate to the kids, that the kids are going to respond to, and then just be efficient while you're out here. Like, don't stand around. There can never be a dull moment. Right. Like, hey, get them boys to get some water, bring them boys back, and they're back to working. It can't be this hang out. You want to hang out? I got a whole facility here to hang out. See what I'm saying? Like, let's work. Yeah. You know what I mean? So to me, that's what I look for. I look for that high energy. I look for that guy that just knows, at least played the position, and be a copycat. I don't care. Get your drills from YouTube if you want to. See what I'm saying? If you think it's an efficient, I'm gonna be watching you. Right. I don't coach a position no more. Okay. So I just sit here and I just watch everybody. So if I'm sitting you coach a drill and I think that drill don't work, or if I think that drill is useless, I'm gonna come tell you. You know what I mean? I'll pull you aside. Hey, dog, don't do that no more. Like that ain't really gonna transition to the field. Or if you need help, I may be the guy that when I script practice, I'll put in this script and I'll say, hey, this is what I want to see. You see what I'm saying? So as long as you're open and you're receptive to being coached as a coach, right? We good. You know what I mean? I don't micromanage nobody. I sit here and I just watch from afar and I make sure that things are flowing and things are moving. I more so micromanage the kids. Right. I micromanage the kids. I'll jump in and coach up an O lineman. I'll coach a D lineman, a backer, a DB, a receiver. Whatever it is that I see, I just sit there and give my 2 cents in on those things. But to me, it's finding those coaches that don't have an ego, that want to be part of something, right, and are coachable. You can't expect a kid to be coachable if you're not coachable. The same way I sit here and I'll go to clinics and I sit here and listen, and we can sit here, a bunch of high school guys just like me, and they gonna get on the board and they gonna talk about whatever they think work. If I'm sitting there and I'm not sitting here writing stuff down and I'm not trying to get better as a coach, I'm failing these kids. Right. You know what I mean? So even myself, I always want to get better and I always want to learn. So as a coach, you got to be that. So that's really what I look for in a coach, is being coachable.
And when it comes to like the X's and O's, right? When you're hiring a coaching staff, like you already have an offense or defense in your mind when you're bringing them on. You say, hey, I like to see guys who run similar to this, or are you looking at what they have and then saying, okay, I can work, or that's right, or that's not right, or?
To me, honestly, I don't really care. I'll be honest, I'm not gonna run the wing T. Right, we're not gonna do that. But we're not gonna run the wing T. We're not gonna run the triple option. We're not gonna run the
popular 1985.
What do they do? What is it? The single wing? Right. We're not gonna do any of that. We're gonna throw the ball. Right. I got the best quarterback in the county. We're gonna throw the damn football.
Shout out to Will, man.
So it'll be a disservice to put that boy back there to hand the ball off 65 times a game. So we're gonna throw the rock. But when you say hiring a coach with X's and O's, to me, it's how well do you know your X's and O's? If you get your playbook from Madden, we got a problem. See what I'm saying? Like, I need a guy that's going to, if you know what you're doing, I don't care if you run 4 plays, but you're going to run the shit out of them plays. Right? If you good at what you do, we're good. Right? You don't got to run 48. You can run a spread. You don't got to run 15 run plays. Right. That damn go run inside zone, outside zone, and throw power in there. Right. That's as long as we do it efficiently, it's gonna work. See what I'm saying? You get a guy that show up and show you, hey, I run 3,000 plays. Here they go. Come on, man. You don't know how to run 3,000 plays. Right. And how do you know them kids are gonna be able to run them plays? Right. So to me, it's finding a person that knows their stuff, that genuinely knows their stuff, and can sit here and talk about things and can adjust on the fly and get him up on the board and throw scenarios at him and see how he responds, and And I'm also the kind of guy that when we get out there, I'm still evaluating.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest, I got no problem telling a guy, hey, appreciate your services, big dog, but I'm going a different direction.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I got to do what's best for the kids. I got to do what's best for the program.
Right.
So I'm not going to sit here and blow a whole year if I don't think that you're capable of doing what I need you to do. So every day, my coaches are being interviewed. You know what I mean? And that's how we get better.
And you mentioned, having the best quarterback in the county, man, Will. Watching him since, he's been out there playing at Fort Fire since, 7th, 8th grade.
Mm-hmm.
That kid, was a great kid, What special qualities you see out of him, to make you say that he's the best in the county? They got the kid over there in Palm Beach Central.
Palm Beach Central kid, yeah, he's a phenomenal athlete.
But what do you see specific out of Will? You say this kid.
Just the way he throws the ball. You know what I mean? The way he throws the ball, his release, the way he gets the ball out so quickly. I think that's where the game is going towards now. You know what I mean? So his release, his mechanics are a little different. You know what I mean? He throws a little. It's different. I'm not a quarterback guy to sit here and get into the intricacies of it,
right.
But just sitting back and watching it is different. But I've taken him to camps. We've gone in a van with a bunch of guys, and we've driven, from here to Georgia and done 4 or 5 camps. He's been about 7, 8 camps at this point, and I just sit back and watch him, right? And you got 50 quarterbacks at every camp. So if I sit here and watch 50 guys throw times 7, that's 350 quarterbacks I don't watch throw with him. He the best one I've seen. You know what I mean? And every 7-on-7 we go to, you can see the difference. I mean, it ain't rocket science, right? Like, you watch one kid throw on one team, and you watch another kid throw, and you're like, every other coach is coming up to you saying, "Well, goddamn, coach, where'd you get that kid from?" He could just spin the ball, and he could get better.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's perfect.
Right.
You know what I mean? He could work on his footwork, and he could work on his accuracy a little bit, and there's things that he could get better at. But there's no doubt in my mind he's the best quarterback in Palm Beach County.
Man, that's great, man. Will's good family, good kid, comes from a good family, man.
Absolutely.
But speaking of, he was trying to get undefeated, is what you said. You know what I mean? So who are some other kids, that you like to spotlight? Right, we got you on here, like who gonna you feel like gonna make a difference between you guys going undefeated and losing games? Who are some other kids?
Well, I mean, we want to talk about players. I mean, obviously, we got Curtis Douglas. You know what I mean? He gonna play. He gonna probably be our primary running back. He's 6 foot, 205 pounds. I think he caught the 4.5 at the last camp. I mean, that's an animal. You know what I mean? He's built he look like he's about 30 years old. Just with him having the ball in his hands, he's hard to tackle. He's fast. He's smooth. He's elusive. He could create so much. So we're gonna feed him a lot. And then at the receiving position, we're loaded at receiver. I mean, I don't know if there's a core in the county that could touch us right now at the receiver position. Clavijo Edgecombe is phenomenal in the slot. We got a 6'5" freshman, Jamar Browder, that could really stretch the field outside. You can't teach that size, that speed that he has. Devin Lenore is playing on the other side for us right now. He's just one of those hard-working. He's like a Danny Amendola kind of guy. Like, just he'll run through the damn wall without even knowing there's a wall standing there. You know what I mean? He's that guy. And then we got Tyreek. We got Derek Williams now. He's gonna be like our secret weapon. We gonna use. He gonna be tired of being used, but we gonna use him like. He gonna be in the slot. He gonna be in the back. He gonna return kicks, return punts. He's gonna be that secret weapon for us. And his speed is just dynamic. He's just a dynamic player. His acceleration, and then you flip it to the dark side. Honestly, in the 2023 class, this kid is a hidden gem. Joshua Gashlin. Okay, this kid's 6'1.5", 185 pounds. He went up to the mega camp. He ran 4.52 at the mega camp at that length. The kid is a stud, man. He doesn't get a ball caught on him. The last 3 7-on-7s, he hasn't had one ball caught on him all in three tournaments.
Nice.
And with his length, I'm telling you right now, this is being recorded. After the first 4 games of the season, when colleges get a hold of that tape, that kid's going somewhere.
Nice.
Because you can't teach his length, his height, his speed, his ball skills. That kid's going to be the real deal. at DB. I wish I had one more year with him, to be honest with you. One more year, that kid, he going big time. And then you got guys like Kedrick Burley coming off the edge, man. That kid's a problem. That's a 15 sack kid. Not even like question. Like they were talking about it the other day, talking about 10 sacks. That kid got 30 sacks. Like he's that damn good. He's strong. He's powerful. He's elusive. He's got moves. He's got hands. He plays with leverage. So that kid there is going to be a problem. Anderson Eliskar. Okay, remember that name. And if y'all were at the spring game, you watch him play. Coach, that kid is balls to the wall. Like, it's unbelievable. I've never seen a kid with that kind of motor. Just the way he flies around at linebacker, he could cover. He's probably the fastest guy on our team, which is crazy.
Dang, linebacker,
okay. And yeah, he could go at it with Derek. Like, and he's rocked up. He looks the part. He's special, man. That kid is real special. And then I think one of our captains, our biggest captain, is Amir Gibson. Corner, 5'8" guy. He's also a big time weightlifter. Dude could throw up the damn gym for being a smarter dude like that. But just he's physical, he's fast, he's aggressive. He's always the one that's trying to, he's always starting stuff at these 7-on-7s, but I love it. You know what I mean? He's always getting in somebody's face, jamming somebody into their cooler. But that's the kind of, those are the kind of guys you need. You know what I mean? So those are the main guys I think right now that have been able to, that have really shown up and showed us stuff. But man, we got 2 320-pound nose guards right now. We got some under the radar kind of guys at defensive end. Elijah Demanche is going to be a big guy. He's going to pop up. Aiden Toussaint at Mike linebacker. That kid's just a hard-nosed, downhill, going to just knock your teeth out kind of guy. So we got dudes. We got dudes. Our O-line right now is averaging, I think we're averaging like 6'1", 280 across the board.
Nice.
So we got some hogs. We got some beef. I'm excited, man. Like, people think I be talking just to talk, but man, like we gonna be a problem.
So
gonna be a problem.
So when you got on campus, how many players did you have on your roster?
Here?
Yeah.
When they introduced me as the head coach that day, I made sure that we could fill out. Try to get everybody's information right.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like 45 guys that showed up that day.
Wow, that's a lot.
And then after that, I just I was in the hallways.
Really?
You know what I mean? I was in the hallways every single day.
That was my next question.
I was in the hallways every single day. Hey, you don't play football? Oh, I did, but I don't play no. Hey, 3 o'clock, maybe in the cafeteria. Hey, and I just kind of kept doing that, getting kids' names, I was like a crazy person. I'm sure I wouldn't have died if one of these kids went home and told their parents, hey, there's a crazy dude chasing me around school all day trying to get me to play football. Looking at these big guys. We got 3 tight ends. How many teams got 3 tight ends over 6'3"? You know what I mean? Besides probably Jupiter Christian, they got them damn Twin Towers.
Yeah.
But we got guys. Those guys just started coming out now.
Wow.
You know what I mean? That they were like kind of. I think they played basketball, and I kind of convinced them to come out, and they're here every single day putting in that work. So it's been fun, man. It's been fun being able to go get guys within the building. I talked to the track coach, talked to the baseball. We got a baseball player right now that flies. Absolutely flies. Just came out this summer, and getting after those basketball players, those wrestlers. That's another thing too. You talk about building a program, building a culture.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna play other sports.
Got you.
All my linebackers, all my linemen, we're gonna wrestle. Mm-hmm. Okay, we're gonna wrestle. All my DBs, my receivers, we're gonna run track. You know what I mean? We're gonna wait. We're gonna be. I'm the weightlifting coach too, so we're gonna be on the weightlifting team.
That's
so
awesome.
We gonna keep we gotta stay involved.
Keep that beef.
And again, it's competing. It's being able to compete in individual sports. When you play an individual sport, you can't rely on Tom and Jerry to help you out. Right? It's you, mano y mano. So teaching them how to compete and getting them going on that stuff is another part of the process in the culture.
Being that you have 80 players now.
80 players, yeah. Drive me crazy.
Will you be cutting any?
No, we got plenty of helmets.
Hey, that's amazing. So you guys do have a freshman team. JV
I'm not gonna have a freshman team because it's gonna be asking too much for our coaching staff to do all that. But we're gonna have a JV.
So let me ask you, just because I'm the youth guy.
Yeah.
So I'm the youth guy. How do you feel about just teams in general having freshman teams? Do you think it's a waste? Do you think that freshmen should focus on his last year of youth football before making a step to high school fully? What's your take on that?
Okay. How many teams got freshman teams up here?
Not a lot, but you have a few. Like I know, like it used like a lot of teams tried to get freshman teams at one point, but they was losing them to youth leagues.
I just don't know how you do that, because how do you have enough staff? Like I barely got enough staff for varsity.
Right.
Like we gonna coach JV too, you know. So how you gonna coach a freshman team? So to me,
Right.
I think that's just kind of overkill. But if you got the guys like St. Thomas, they got a freshman JV varsity, right? It's cool because you're gonna get coached up. You see what I'm saying? So you're getting coached up by better guys, right? They you could say, in theory. At St. Thomas, they probably got like 25 NFL guys coaching you, right? So it's different. But I always tell people, if you could play JV football and play, like you're gonna be a starter, you're gonna get your 6 games, and you're gonna have a chance to get moved up to varsity, go play high school football.
I agree.
If you're gonna ride the pine on JV and you're never gonna get moved up, just go ahead and play with your little league team, because you're gonna play. Right? It'll be terrible to just sit there and just have your hands crossed all year and not do anything. Right? Because to me, it's about playing. You gotta play. The only way you get better is by playing. So go play. You know. I also don't know. I'm new to the area, so I don't know how good or bad, or you know, where the coaching is and whatnot in the youth leagues. But if you're Timmy and you're 6'3", 250 pounds, you shouldn't be playing for the Miami Gardens Ravens, right?
Right.
Like it shouldn't be that way. Like go ahead, bro. Like go play at your home school or whatever school you decided you want to go to. Go play high school football, because you already meet the height, weight, speed requirement to go be successful at those levels, and go get coached up and go get a grown man coming at you every day, rather than you 6'3", 250 an Optimist. How many guys are you really going against every day? Like, you just bullying people all day. That's not making you better.
Right.
You know, so go ahead and take that step as a parent and let your kid go. Don't try to be the coolest kid on the block. You know what I mean? That don't get you scholarship.
Now, coming from you know 2A school to this school, bigger school, I'm not sure how much. I'm pretty sure you did. You dealt with parents and everything like that about playing time. I know up here, especially in Palm Beach, you're gonna deal with more parents who deals with like playing time. So how do you address and how do you approach, or not approach, but how do you address when a parent approaches you like, hey, Willie should be playing this, he should be starting this, he should be doing this. How do you address that?
Willie should be doing whatever I tell Willie to do. If your kid's not playing, it's for one of 2 reasons. 1, he's not being accountable, or 2, he's not good enough. Point blank, period. I don't play favoritism. I don't know anybody. Right? So if your kid's not playing, you can't tell, he's playing because he's your friend and he's your accountant's son. No, I don't know nobody. So I don't know anybody. None of these people are my relatives. None of these people are anything. And I'm here to win games. So why would I put a lesser player on the field and leave your son out if he's better than him? Right? Now, if your son missed all the summer workouts, go ahead and play JV. You're not going to play varsity football with everybody out here working every single day. You're just going to show up and just play. It don't work that way. You got to be accountable. Yeah, maybe I can move you up at some point if I need you, but it's not going to work that way. And, bro, let's be honest, man. It's America, right? If you don't like the way we're doing things here, you got plenty of options, man.
Fact.
You know what I mean? Like, go somewhere else.
Yep.
You see, that's what I told Shaman. You don't like it, you could go. Sign your transcripts right now.
I always thought that was the best coach to play for. A coach who new to the area, but there ain't no favorites.
Right.
Obviously, he got some kids with name recognition, but at the end of the day, we still got the opportunity to just go out and ball. And if you ain't good enough, bro, keep working.
Coach, every day, I kid you not, and you know the Putman brothers, you could ask, because I always come to them and joke about it. Till this day, I've been here 6 months, and to this day, I still walk up and see a kid and be like, damn, who's that? Like, damn, that kid looking good. Like, man, he could really be something. Hey, what grade that kid in? 9th grade? Oh, man, like, he's got something. You know what I mean? Like, to this day, I'm still evaluating everybody.
Right.
You know what I mean? We're still trying to figure out who is who. So there ain't no favoritism. If a parent does want to have a conversation, I'm open to it.
Right.
I've never told a parent, no, don't talk to me. Or, no, we're not going to have this conversation. We could close that door. We could sit right here in my office, and we could have that conversation. And I'm going to be right. I'm going to be just real raw honest with you. You know, you may not like what I'm going to say, but I'm going to tell you. And I'm going to tell you what your kid could be doing to get better.
Right.
You know, and I think as a parent, you got to appreciate that too.
True. 100%.
You know, but if you think I'm gonna sit here and well, Johnny's mom complained, so I gotta play Johnny. Don't work that way.
You know, speaking of, you talked about Putman brothers, man. Shout out to them again. You know, last episode we had Baz on. You know, he has his brothers on staff. You know, I know you had your brother on staff, and you know, since then he's passed on. I mean, how, you know, 2-part question really. I mean, how was it having your brother on staff and having somebody who you known, you know, your whole life and trust, having him on staff, and him being a football guy? How was it like having him on staff, and then, you know, kind of how has it been your coping and transition since, you know, his passing?
Yeah, I mean, having him on staff was great, you know, because he met all my criteria, right? Like being on time, being efficient, coaching. You know, there was times where at Champagnat, man, like it was me, him, and my OC at practice, coaching the entire team. You know what I mean? Like, but I knew as long as we had those two guys, we were good.
Right.
You know what I mean? So losing him, you know, to in general, right? Losing him, not only a part of my life, right, but a part of football, just kind of lost like that solid rock, right? Like that person you could always depend on. You running late, he got it. I need some of my kids, he got me. You know what I mean? It was kind of like that. Right. In the same way I could depend on him on the field, I could depend on him off the field. So for me, that transition being without him now, it's been different. You know what I mean? It's been difficult, obviously, for me on a personal level and on a coaching level. But you gotta just figure it out. You know what I mean? You kind of just gotta figure it out, and I love having the Putman brothers, you know, on the staff, because I think that kind of brings something close to me. You know, I always tell there's these two coaches that one's in college now, one's in the NFL, but the Rowe brothers, right? James Rowe and David Rowe. David Rowe is the DB's coach at Houston. James Rowe is now the DB coach at the Chicago Bears, and they're brothers. And the way they're so tight and the way they always do things, and now I get to see the Putman brothers always do things like in the football world. I love having those guys close to me because I see like the things that I used to do with my brother and whatnot. But just having to move on, you know what I mean? Move on and just live with it, you know what I mean? There ain't much else I could do, you know what I mean? Like, but it is where it is.
Yeah, give them your shout out your Instagram handle or your Twitter handle. Shout your handle out for Twitter.
Oh, it's Twitter and Instagram is IREP Coaches, IREP Coaches, yeah, they're both the same, so y'all can follow me on that.
Got you. So another thing I came across too, we see that you is a director of a sports group. Talk to me about that a little bit.
Yeah, so I represent coaches, you know, college and NFL coaches. So I'm the director of the coaching division in that company. So what I do with that is just basically help coaches that I represent either get better jobs, or a job if they were to get let go, and then also just negotiate their deals, negotiate their contracts, and try to get them more money, or obviously a lot of intricacies that go behind it, right? More money, bonuses, blase, helping them with housing, whatever they need. Just being almost like concierge service to those guys is really what that comes down to.
And you balance that well with your football schedule?
I think it works great, actually, hand in hand. Like, you know, spring ball here for me is amazing. You know, having 100 coaches come visit you is a great opportunity to either sell myself or being able to help my clients. You know what I mean? And help them navigate through the city or navigate through the county or whatever, and just give them information that maybe they weren't able to get elsewhere. So it's a really good fit.
You know, and you know, keeping it kind of like off the field a little bit, but you know, but being a coach, it takes a lot of time. You know what I'm saying? A lot of hours. You know, watching film or everything like that. You know, but you know, you're a family man. You got 2 kids, right? And you're married. How are you able to balance that? You know what I'm saying? Keeping the wife happy and also, you know, and being here doing what you need to do on the football field. You know what I mean? Because a lot of coaches are not good at balancing those things, and they have, you know, issues at the home front because they can't balance those things.
Well, we all know it's impossible to keep the wife happy. Right? That's a given, right? So I think all we can do as men is try to do the best we can. So for me, it's just being strategic. She also has a job that's a little different from a schedule standpoint, right? So she works 24 hours and get 48 off. So I try to take advantage and do all my extracurricular on her days that she works, right? So the days that she works, I know she out working, I'm going to handle as much as possible. And the days that she would be off, I try to get my day off. See what I'm saying? So that we could spend some time together and some time with the kids and take the kids to Lion Country Safari or do whatever, right? Spend time in the pool or whatever the case may be. So that's kind of been the balance, right? It's just trying to do that as much as possible. And then obviously if I need to go out somewhere, if I have a meeting or whatever, then she just handles it. You know what I mean? She knows what's up. I've had to make sacrifices for her, with her being in school and doing all the things, and she's made sacrifices for me. You know, me coaching and the hours of film and the hours on the phone with the parents and the coaches and the Zoom meetings and the this, that, and the third. So we've both been able to sacrifice for each other to make sure that we're both doing what we love to do. You know, and I think that's where it all comes down to. As long as, you know, both people are you know, doing what they love and working towards what they want to do and what they want to be, that's great. You know, for me, I don't really want to coach in college, you know, because I value my time with my kids. You know, you could ask anybody. I spend almost every day with my kids, 24 hours a day. You know what I mean? I'm that parent. You know, my kids are with me. I'm at their practices. I'm at every event. I'm at every little thing that they got. I'm gonna be there. So for me, I'm there. You know, so I value that stuff. And I know if I go to college, I'm never going to see my kids. You know, it's impossible. I know how that game goes, especially if you want to be good.
Right.
If you want to be good, you got to put in the time.
True.
So at least now in high school, you don't got to worry about recruiting, and you don't got to be on the road, and you got to do all that stuff. So I like where I'm at. You know, I like where I'm at. People ask me all the time, how long am I going to be here? I don't plan on going anywhere. For sure, I just bought a damn house, so I really ain't going nowhere. But I got that question asked at Champagne all the time. Well, what's next? What's next? What's next? And I'm like, I ain't got nowhere to go. You know.
So, as a high school football coach, how important is the football salary? You know, we have a lot of coaches who complain about they feel like they're underpaid.
Oh,
which they are.
What's your thought? What's your thoughts on that? You know, we have a lot of guys going to Texas, a lot of guys going to Georgia.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to Georgia, bro.
Look, I'll be honest. I think Florida or even the county has an opportunity to compete with the money in different ways, right? And starting teacher salary is $47,500, I believe is where it is. Okay, add a head coaching stipend of $4,000 for a little bit. So let's just call it 51. Okay, $51,000 is what gets you a job to be a high school football coach in South Florida, or in Florida, period, right? Where I think there should be an increase in that amount. It doesn't have to be even like $50,000 worth.
Right.
I think that increase should go, you know, a $5,000 to $7,000 increase in that, which isn't crazy, right? It isn't crazy. If you add $1 to everybody's tax, home taxes, you know, it'll be enough, right? And you're not killing nobody,
right?
So I think it could be done. So, but I think that there should be an addition from the county on their base stipend, and then it's going to come down to everything else. Nick Saban makes more money, right, than the head coach at UAB, right? They're down the street from each other. Right. They're in the same state, but Nick Saban's making a lot more money. Why? Because he makes more money, right? The school makes more money. Right. His program makes more money. Right. So I think the county and the state should allow those schools that make more money to make more money. Right. Right? So if I'm the coach at, I don't know, who do we want to say? Venice, right? If I'm the head coach at Venice, and I'm using Venice because I actually know the coach, Coach Peacock, and they sell out, right? They sell out. They got a whole beautiful stadium. They got a crowd behind them. And that guy is probably making what I just laid out, right? Let's not even talk about it. He's probably been coaching for 20 years, and so his salary is probably more. Right. Let's just talk about base guy, right? Well, damn, if his budget for the year, right, his revenue, his total profit of the year is, let's just say $100,000, right? Why not allow him to make more money? Why not let him make X amount of dollars from that profit? 100%. And also be able to kick back to your assistants, right? So create a budget for your coaches. Right? So, hey, we're going to have a booster club that we're going to be able to make $100,000. that $100 grand is divvied up by head coach and his assistants.
Right.
Or however way he wants it. To his trainer, to his field guy, to his maintenance guy. Let him hire somebody. Hey, I want to hire an extra coach, or I want to hire whatever, right? Let them be able to do whatever they want with that money. And now you're going to get a coach that's going to be driven on making the program better, right? Because I think you got too many coaches in not only the county, but the state, right? The whole state. I don't know the county guys like that, so I don't want to talk about it. But I know in Dade, I do for sure, where the season ends, and you know they ain't going to the playoffs, so they done in what, first week of November. They're done. They hang up their coaching hat, and they won't see these kids again until May.
Yeah.
That's not football.
Right.
Okay, that's not football. So those guys that are doing that, yeah, they deserve that $4,000 stipend, because that's all they working. You know what I mean? They're not doing nothing else.
Bare minimum.
You know, the bare minimum, they just do it to say, hey, I'm a head coach, right? But when you got the guys that are working
year round,
365, okay, putting in 3 hours a day, just football with the kids, plus how many more hours does it take to do fundraising, to do inventory, to do, you know, going out and meeting with the patrons around the county to raise money, to get pregame meals, to get stuff donated, to work on all those extra things.
Driving them to camps.
Taking them to camp, taking them up for practice, doing X, Y, and Z. Plus, how about what it really takes, right? How many people are actually watching film? How many people are breaking down film? How many people are working to get these kids into school? You think you could just sit here and not do anything and the kids gonna get recruited? Yeah, maybe if you got the 6'5", 500-pound lineman that runs a 4.3, right? Everybody's gonna come recruit him, okay? But you know, it don't work that way. It don't work that way. You gotta work, especially for those kids that are D2, D3. You gotta get them kids into school. You know what I mean? And that takes work. So where is the coach being compensated for doing all those things? Nobody ever sees that. You know what I mean? And I think that's where the compensation really comes. And let's be honest here, fellas. These coaches put in more. The ones that do it, right? The ones that do it right, they put in more time and more work than a lot of people in the county that get paid a lot more.
Right.
Facts.
100%.
You know, but they may not have that specialized degree, that master's degree, or been there X amount of time that have worked their way into a position of power, right? What are they doing for these kids? Because at the end of the day, this is education, right? Well, what are we doing to give these kids a better education? What are we doing for these kids to get them to a higher level of learning? What are we doing? A lot of these people ain't doing nothing. We're the ones doing it as coaches. You know, some are. You got great counselors. You got great APs. You get great people that really put their hands on these kids and guide them to where they got to be. You have some,
right?
But you got some that don't,
yeah,
right? So I think some of them coaches that do the right things, they should be compensated.
Reward them.
You know, reward them. Exactly.
100%. I mean, and that's a great, you know, idea that you laid out. But and I always felt like that. You know, coaches. You know, I don't know. Again, I'm not sure every county or whatever. But I know, you know, you can't take money from the football budget. You're not supposed to anyway. You know, but that should definitely be something. If you can make the money from the gate or from wherever, however you fundraise, whatever you want to do it, you should be able to allot money for yourself and to your staff. Right. I mean, because even quality coaches is hard on a $2,000 stipend or $3,000 stipend. You know what I mean? And the guys who are doing it, you know, they just love football. Some guys are trying to collect a check or whatever. But that's always been something that, you know, will better the county, better the coaches, better everybody. You know what I'm saying? If I'm getting paid more money, I want to put more time in. You know what I'm saying? I can, you know, do different things. I want to get on the phone and go, you know, call coaches or DM them and everything like that, because and it's not about money, but I feel better if I got more money in my pocket too. You know what I'm saying? Do that, you know. But
dude, let's be honest. We spend $100 a week on gas. I spend more. I drive a Yukon.
Right.
I spend more than $100 a week.
Yeah.
But if I was just going from my house or my job to practice and back, right? If you only consider that, you're spending $100 a week in gas. You know what I mean? You're talking about 15 weeks. That's $1,500. Right? We're just talking about gas.
Right.
Like, these stipends don't even cover the cost of being a coach. You know what I mean? Let's not even talk about, we're compensating you to help develop the youth. No, you're compensating my gas tank.
Right.
Like, you're helping Mobile and Shell and Marathon. Like, that's where that money is going to.
Yeah.
You might as well write the check out to them.
Sure. At least give me a stipend up front. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? At least do something.
No, but and then it's split, right? So you get the split. You get some in the fall, you get some in the in the spring.
Yeah.
Imagine, man, you don't even see the money
At the end of both seasons,
You know?
you know what I'm saying? Like at the end of both seasons,
Right.
in December, they give you
Right.
stock. No, give me it in August at least. You know, that's the least you can do.
So it's tough, man. It really makes it difficult to be successful. You know, I've heard really good things about the county AD here. I heard she does work and tries to make things better for the coaches and the players. So hopefully maybe we could pitch some ideas to her. She might come and maybe give us some feedback, and I think we just got to come together, man.
Right.
I know in they always talked about that. Oh, the coach got to come together, and we got to do a coalition, and we got to do it. But you know how it goes in Dave, man. You get the wrong 5 people involved, and it things just go elsewhere, you know. But if you are able to come everybody together and say, hey, we're gonna do this together, and this is what we agree upon, maybe something can happen, and maybe we could be the trailblazers in it.
Right.
Maybe this county, given there's a little bit less schools, and it's a little bit different culture, maybe we could start something that could then trickle down to the rest of the counties and the rest of the state. You never know, but it will start at the top. Right. So maybe getting the county AD, Miss Valerie, involved, and maybe the superintendent or whoever and principals, if they got our back, then I think things could start changing.
They can definitely find a way. Hell, you see the refs went on strike. Whether they did,
Pay them more
y'all
money.
gonna get them more money.
Yeah.
Because without no refs, you can't play.
Yeah.
You know. So my last question is, what's your thoughts on this whole NIL thing? You know,
High school or college?
high school players. You know what it is. The kid who just signed to Miami. It's like a $9 million deal.
See, I don't buy into the NIL. I think it's fairy dust money. All these websites coming out with, oh, this kid's valuation is this kid's valuation is that. Well, show me.
Money grab.
Show me which kid making that money.
I seen the kid, and just to pause you right quick, I seen the kid who didn't really play last year, but he signed up on his website, and his evaluation is at like $6,000. How? He don't even have film like that. Is this just a money grab? Because you know, a lot of parents now, once they see that type of stuff, let me pay for my kid just for the looks of it.
Right.
But it's not valid.
Yeah, man. A lot of this stuff, they're evaluating you at what it can be. Right? That's called evaluation. But I want somebody to go out and show me, take a picture of all these checks that have been cashed for that kid, right? Because if we talk about it, the kid at Bama that Saban said, oh, this kid already signed, X amount of dollars and this, that, and the third. He never played. The kid that went to Ohio State that they said was going to get all this NIL money,
Quarterback, yeah.
transferred. He ain't even there no more. So to me, is all this NIL stuff. I mean, let's be honest. We're on a podcast. It's gonna get on. I'm not gonna get into detail about what's happening, but to me, it's bogus, man. It's all bogus money. It's all, you know. Could the kid get paid? Could a kid be signing an X amount of deal for X amount of years? You know, could BSN sign a kid and say, hey, I'm gonna give you $100,000 over the course of 4 years? That's people forget. It's over the course of the time of you being there, right? They're not just fronting you all this money.
Right.
And then by rule, the kid has to do something in return to receive this money. So he's got to be a certain amount of Instagram posts, Twitter posts, appearances, X, Y, and Z. So if these things are actually going on, then okay, cool. But what do you see really going on? Like how many kids at this school? I'm sure y'all follow athletes, right? How many of them kids you see posting stuff? How many kids you see wearing stuff? How many? You don't see it. So it's either money, booster money that's just being funneled in a different way and given to the schools or to the kids, right? To sign, or you don't want to call it an inducement to sign, fine, call it whatever you want to call it, NIL, all right. Or you'll have some that will receive real money. Like I think this year it'll kick off. So let's figure out who the best 5 players are. Start with the quarterbacks, and let's see how much money they can make. And I think once you figure that out, I think that's when you'll know where it really is. Because if you had Tim Tebow right now,
would have been
just jersey sales, right? Just TV appearances, just all those little Johnny Manziel would have killed it in the NIL game. But
Reggie Bush.
Reggie Bush, Cam Newton's, like those guys of the world are gonna kill the NIL game. If you were to tell me right now that guy made $1 million in NIL, I'd be like, yeah, I believe it. But you're not gonna tell me the third string quarterback, freshman kid that just came off of high school, he run a scout team for your team. He's getting NIL money like that. Like people are out there just throwing money at him. Right. Come on, man. Like it don't work that way. That's bad business. Right. That's bad business. If I'm the business owner that's signing him and giving him NIL money, I got to be the worst business person on earth.
True.
You know what I mean? Like, why would I give a kid money I'm not receiving anything back for that?
Right.
No business in the world is giving people money without receiving something in return.
True. Look at D'Eriq King. This dude went in projected to go crazy his senior year. Mm-hmm. He gets what? 3 to 5 NIL deals, good money. Hell, he even had one with the Florida Panthers. Second, third game into the season, he's hurt.
Yeah. That's it.
Like, what could he do for that company? You can't represent them properly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they try to go off a brand. They try to go off the name. Mm-hmm. They try to, that valuation is, okay, what do we expect that kid to be?
Right.
So, like Brandon Ennis, right? I love Brandon Ennis. I think the kid's a phenomenal football player. Like, that kid there, could he be that guy? Could he be a guy that gets to, where's he going, Ohio State? Could he be a guy that goes to Ohio State and just kills it right away? I could see that. Mm-hmm. He's got a college body. Mm-hmm. He's got speed. He's got the ability. He could play probably 3 or 4 positions, right? Could he be a guy that gets there right away, a freshman All-American, and just dominates off rip? Yeah. Could I see companies buying into him and getting in early? Mm-hmm. That's another thing too, right? You want to get in early on a kid, right? Because if you get him to sign a 4-year deal now, when he becomes that Tim Tebow, you can afford him then, right? So you want to try to get him now, sign him for that long run, and then now his senior year, now you making that money back. So that's kind of where I think that valuation comes from, is what do they expect? What could that kid project to be? And then kind of go from there. But I don't buy into it. You won't see none of my kids signing to no university because of NIL money. Like, no, man, it don't make sense. Like, go with a degree is worth something. You know what I mean? Like, that's like when Malik signed to Georgia Tech, that was a business decision. Right. Because to me, that kid was he's got great social media platform. He's social. He's energetic. He's a great person to be around. He's a high energy guy, just great character. So to me, I said, hey son, listen, you go to this school, you're gonna get a hell of a degree at Georgia Tech. Right, start with that. So that's going to be a piece of paper that's worth money, more money than most places. Then 2, you're in the city of Atlanta, right? Being a young black person with a degree that has your kind of spunk and your kind of energy, right? In a place where, you know, let's be honest, right? Atlanta is a place where we're seeing black businesses grow and all that happening right there, where he could be able to take advantage. So right now I've been trying to help him set up internships in the city of Atlanta, right, with the school, and get him going off the field. So when he graduates now, he don't have to come back to Miami. He don't got to go back to Liberty City. See what I'm saying? He could stay in Atlanta and work his way into a big global company like Coca-Cola or Chick-fil-A or one of these type of places, right? Mm-hmm. And now make something of himself. So that's where I sit down and I try to help my kids go to school. That's what we look for. You know what I mean? We look for the total package. What if football doesn't work out? Right. And let's be honest, Malik is 5'7", 5'8". You know what I mean? Like, is he a projected first-round pick? No. You know what I mean? Could he be an NFL football player? 100%. That kid's a freak. He's one of the best football players I've ever seen. But let's call it where it is. NFL is a big man game, right. You know? So I want to set these kids up for the rest of their lives. So that's why, if you notice, you know, where do my kids go? Jesus Machado's at Tulane, right? One of the best schools in the nation. Malik's at Georgia Tech. Sent 3 kids to the University of Miami. You know what I mean? Private schools that got a good, you know, got a great education, got a great degree, you know, and I think that is what is important. You know, when it comes to the recruiting process, that people forget. Don't chase that logo, right? Because that logo can have you sit on the bench, okay? Can have you sit on the bench and whatnot. So that's what's important.
Got you. Hey, Real As It Get podcast, episode number 6. You know, we're here with Santaluces head football coach Hector Clavijo. Hey, so once again, tell them where they can find you online on social media.
It's at IREP Coaches, IREPCOACHES.
Chuck C, where can they find you?
Man, at Chuck C is me, CHUCKIZME.
All right, so hey, before we go, Coach, we have this segment. Pretty much one has to go. I'm gonna give you some options, and one has to go. The 2001 Miami Hurricanes or the 2005 Texas Longhorns.
One has to go?
One gotta go.
Oh, the Longhorns got to go. That UM team is the best team ever.
The 2018 Clemson Tigers or the 2004 USC Trojans.
That's Reggie Bush's team, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm taking Reggie Bush's team. They got to stay. Clemson could go.
All right, so we're going to move on to movies. Gridiron Gang or Remember the Titans?
For me, Remember the Titans could go. I like Gridiron Gang.
Barry Sanders or Walter Payton?
I'm going to be biased only because it's more of my, like, y'all really getting to my age here. I'm not that old. I'll say I'll take Walter Payton could go. I'll take Barry Sanders.
All right, so when it comes to the football, Friday Night Lights atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
Florida football or Texas football?
Texas football could go. We're going to keep Florida football.
Got you. Hey, man, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show.
Yes, it has.
Thank you for joining us.
Sir.
And like we say, you know, our podcast is open. You know, it's bigger than football. You know, we just want to talk about everything. You know, everything
Absolutely.
What's going on within the community. Any way that we can help. You know, we're here for you. Also, I got to plug my print shop in too. You said BSN gave you the best deals. I got
Gave you a great deal. Yeah.
I got a print shop in Boynton. We definitely can talk about that.
Let's talk.
I can give you a sweeter deal.
Let's talk. All
But
right.
yeah, follow us on social media, Real As It Get Podcast. We signing out. Thank you, Coach, for having us.
No, thank you guys.
Mm-hmm.
All right.